A denial by Christians and pastors or brothers in faith that many have likened to the denial of Jesus by Simon Peter when Jesus was in difficulties. It is the denial of Pastor Julio Michel Pfeiffer, one-time pastor of our church, that is Église Jean Baptiste in Saint-Malema in the south region of Cameroon. He is being held by security officials or accused of being a pastor during the day and an armed robber in the night. Pastors of the church, Christians, all gathered in Saint-Malema to say that they distance themselves from the activities and the man, Pastor Julio Michel Pfeiffer. We have details with our Lady Malak Glory in the following report.
It is in the locality of Saint-Malema, the Ja and Lower Division of the South Region of Cameroon, that members of the Jean Baptiste Church have gathered to discuss on the internal crisis hitting the church. The pastor of the said gathering is accused of robbery and possession of arms. Following the situation, an information was made public condemning the act. This is first of all to call the attention of the Christians to continue with the spiritual activities of the church while the said pastor is on suspension. Thanks to an informant, public authorities were immediately alerted and Pastor Michel Julio Pfeiffer was arrested. We saw several vehicles entering the church compound. A neighbor came calling for me that security officials have come to arrest the pastor. What contributed to the arrest of the suspect emanated from the attack of a government official. This attack led to an investigation which exposed Pastor Pfeiffer as a suspect. It is written that in the last days there will be fake prophets everywhere. When we talk of fake prophets, we mean fake pastors. This is because we don't understand how a normal pastor will carry out such an evil act. Working in the parish for over a year, Reverend Pfeiffer is an ex-captain of the Cameroon military. He is presently in the hands of security officials to respond to his actions.
The man who became a pastor after serving in the military was so used to his gun that he could not leave it. A pastor during the day and an armed robber during the night, according to security officials. But who would have believed that men of God, or at least a pastor, will form those who make Cameroonians sleepless at night or causing insecurity to rise in several localities in Cameroon? Certainly very few people before the arrest of a man of God. Yes, but insecurity has not stopped with the arrest of this individual in the Diamari division of the far north region of Cameroon, a region where this pastor served as a security official. We have information that insecurity is rising and affecting the several subdivisions making up the Diamari of the far north region, and within the challenging context of a senior divisional officer headed on the Meet the People store and used his store to strategize with stakeholders at traditional level on how to curb insecurity, or at least to fight it out of villages, towns and cities within the Diamari. We have details with Equinoxe and in the following report.
Burglary, kidnapping for ransom, aggression and other criminal acts threaten on a daily basis the peace and tranquility of the Diamari people. Quarter heads and business persons are the main targets of masked armed men who spread terror in all the 9 subdivisions making up Diamari division in the far north region.
They
recently attacked the quarter heads of this locality and asked for money. Because he did not have, they took away his motorbike. After receiving several complaints from the population, the senior divisional officer Jean-Marc Kouambaruga decides to embark on a security tour in the different communities of the 9 subdivisions. He met with the people and discussed with administrative and religious authorities on the security situation.
J'ai rencontré les populations, j'ai mesuré la dimension de leurs difficultés, de leurs problèmes. Est-ce que vous savez pourquoi?
They mask themselves because they know you will identify them. They are your children you neglected. Some of them are avenging in complicity with some elites amidst you. As a disposition to address the rising insecurity, Jean-Marc Ekwambaruga ordered the divisional officers to revive and multiply vigilante groups which will work closely with the defense and security forces to contain the social ill.
C'est ça que j'ai demandé à tous les leaders d'opinion et les comités de vigilance de se mettre en ordre de bataille.
Locals have also asked for the creation of vigilante groups in remote localities by authorities who promised to do so.
While the atmosphere remains tense as a result of heightened insecurity in parts of the Diamari in the Far-North region of Cameroon, in the Mungo divisional chief town of Nkonsamba, traders say that they are not ready to open their shops. They went protesting massively against what they qualify as an exaggerated cost of renting a business space in Konsamba at a time when business is becoming extremely difficult with the hike in the prices of basic commodities. They're finding it difficult to make means or to make gains at the end of the business day. We have details with our business lady, Immaculate Fogler.
It is a tense atmosphere at the Konsamba Central Market in the Mungo division of the Lithora region. The traders are furious over the mayor's decision to seal their stores due to unpaid rents. The traders on their part say their refusal stems from the increase in rents.
That kind of money per day or per week, so there's no way for us to pay that kind of price. It's like 75,000, and it's so much for us to pay that. 50,000. Yes. And see, the difference is like very huge, so we cannot pay for that.
In addition to the increase in rents, the mayor insists that rent arrears be paid in strict respect of the new amount demanded. The traders say such a decision will further worsen their situation.
We asked them to just to reduce the prices, even because the shopping in Konsamba is not even working. So you see the market is even, no one even come to buy stuff. It's very different for now, so we cannot just accept to pay that.
At the moment, activities have been paralyzed at the Konsamba Central Market. The mayor of the Konsamba City Council, Frederic Nzoki, despite a crisis meeting held at the Konsamba Council with the traders, maintained his decision of increasing the rents.
Oh my God, to rent a shop in Konsamba, you need at least 15,000 francs, between 15 to 50,000 francs CFA for business. What in Konsamba is not the case of the city of Douala. Business people say that getting to make gains at the end of the business day in Konsamba is first of all difficult, but they do not understand the increase in the prices of market spaces, shops, and makeshift structures by officials concerned. But in Bumaka, a neighborhood in the Southwest Regional Chief Town, Boya, a land dispute is threatening social peace. The chief of Bumaka said that some individuals are violating injunction orders to construct on some particular spaces, even when the orders came from civil administrators. We have details with our Southwest Regional correspondent, Derek Jato.
I tell you, I'm taking an injunction order here. Don't worry.
The injunction order that you brought, we tore it.
A land in crisis in the heart of Bomakai village in Boya subdivision. Chief Eko Kume Emmanuel, the traditional ruler of Bomaka village, says he has all the document of the set land and started constructing here. This structure, the foundation, and this fence that someone is coming to complete and own the said piece of land.
I have a ministerial decision. My 17 layout for the Bomaka community, represented by Chief Eko Kume Emmanuel.
Consider the action as illegal.
Now,
Chief Eko Emmanuel drew the attention of Barrister Loktabo Evans Chingom for legal proceedings, coming to the site to appreciate the case. Fortunately, the chief met with the person claiming ownership of this said piece of land, and the situation escalated.
I we are coming for you.
You are not coming for me. Don't threaten me. Sir, don't threaten me. No, sir, don't threaten me. Don't tell me that is how you were threatening. That is how you were threatening the IGP that you are going to kill them. I'm the witness. Yes. So yes.
Threat of lives. Days ago, internally displaced persons who the chief gave them here to lay their head were chased out and their properties destroyed. To Barrister Tabo Evans Tingom, decisions of authorities must be respected, for Cameroon is a state of law.
He says that there is nobody that can stop him there, that even the court cannot stop him. Because even the injunction order that was placed there by the DO, he openly said that he saw the injunction order and tore it, and they are working, and the DO cannot send people to come and arrest him. It means he is above the law. So the public should take into consideration to tell us if some particular group of people are above the law. If people from America, when they come to Cameroon, they are above Cameroonian laws, because I know the law is for everybody.
And secondly, the choice of words used by these persons claiming ownership of this land, whose identity has not yet been revealed, is a cause for concern in a region like Southwest, currently experiencing an armed conflict.
We cannot seek your consent.
And he's threatening that there will be war here tomorrow. I see neighbor only grumbling that they should pack. Very soon you'll see a crowd of people again in front of the DO's office, crying, in front of the governor's office.
Listen, yeah, somebody is leave this place and come here again tomorrow, it will be war.
Always a land issue within the faculty division. Many will say, even just after watching this report, remember that it is not the first, and we are close on that. We shall be coming back to that. Derek Yato promised in that report. And just how can businesses like Weldring and owners of cold shops go on with their businesses effectively without electricity is a question difficult to answer. But it is a reality in some parts of the economic capital city, Douala. They've gone for several days without electricity supply. They cried out when Annabella Lady gave them the opportunity to talk on the microphones of Equinoxe radio and television. They said that their businesses have been enormously adversely affected without electricity supply for days. Is practically unbearable. Their challenges were compiled in her report.
Inhabitants of most parts of the city of Douala have been going for days without electricity. The absence of light is stopping them from going about their daily activities. This young man is a welder and his profession goes with electricity.
We can't do anything without current. We have welding machine, we have the watt, aluminum, those things we use current, so we cannot work without current. That's why you see I'm not yet putting my work close because there's no light. Il n'y a pas de lumière, il n'y a pas d'activité.
Business is slow as hairdressers too are affected. Clients are disappointed when they stop by and can't get their hair done.
J'ai déjà les clients qui veulent se défriser, qui veulent se coiffer en fait, mais il n'y a pas la lumière.
In Newbell, the situation seems dire due to the presence of mosquitoes.
Nous sommes à Newbell. Vous savez que c'est un quartier où il y a beaucoup de moustiques.
We are in Newbell, a quarter with mosquitoes. We are suffering. Plus, with newborn babies, we can't sleep in the dark.
Nous avons des nouveaux-nés, on ne peut pas dormir dans le noir. On ne peut pas joindre nos familles parce que nous avons des téléphones déchargés.
Sales in bakeries around the affected areas have as well witnessed a drop.
Et à Koloko, ça se passe mal pour nous parce que nous avons les produits qui sont en train de se gâter.
She complains most of their products get bad whenever there is no electricity for days.
Par exemple, les mocha.
It just remains only one month to rentrée scolaire, to school starting. So we don't know what we can do. Our children, there is no light. Without no light, we cannot walk.
In a communique sent out by NEO on July 29, 2022, states that electricity distribution remains disrupted in the southern part of Douala, and that there will be ration while waiting for Sonatrol technicians to finish their work. Customers will be resupplied on a more permanent basis progressively as soon as the work is completed. NEO enjoins clients to be patient, and they will keep them informed of the outcome.
There are hopes that the crisis-stricken East Evangelic Jew Cameroon or the Evangelical Church of Cameroon will see peace. In the days ahead, a new bureau has been elected and charged with the mandate to put in place new laws guiding the functioning of the church nationwide. We have details with Mala Glory in the following report.
To restore peace and to solve the internal problems of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon, an organ has been put in place by the members of this gathering.
Nous avons mis en place
we have put in place a legal department to take care of our internal differences.
Mais nos différences, cette structure manquait.
To them, issues of the church are better solved internally than in court. This is prior to the election of the late Pastor Jean-Samuel Henji-Toyer as president of the EEC, which was highly contested. In order to reduce tension in the air, a general meeting was organized to evaluate the mandate of the transitional organ and to revisit the laws of the church.
Il s'agit d'un long processus et il faut mettre.
It's a long process and principles need to be made in order to control the actions of the future board members who will have the responsibility to gain souls and reconvert the people towards Christian values, to develop the church economically and spiritually.
Donner à l'Église une dimension de développement humain, développement économique, développement spirituel.
Owing to these, representatives of the EEC from the 22 different regions met in Douala for a 3-day meeting. These to put in place new laws governing the church.
Notre mandat finit le 30.
Our mandate ends on the 31st of December 2022, and we believe by then another bureau will be put in place, which will not be made of only 5 members, but of 9 members.
Seulement, ce seront 9 personnes.
An event which brought a lot of enthusiasm among Christians of this congregation, who for over 5 years have not had one. Thanks to the meeting, Christians of the EEC now hope for the return of peace.
After a long and unexplained delay, results of the baccalaureate examination in the French subsystem of education have been released in Cameroon. Candidates who made it went celebrating, and in the economic capital city, we hooked up with some of the candidates who had to take on their school uniforms for the very first time, announcing that it was the last time as they hope to move on to higher education, saying goodbye to secondary and high school uniforms. We have details compiled in the following report. Lucy Esielonge is the lady on the story.
Waited impatiently to know the fate of their children. Some families in the Ndokoti neighborhood of Douala 3 got overwhelmed after the release of the 2022 baccalaureate examination results Thursday night. Dialing the code to know their results, ADMI, which signifies a pass, was the most desired feedback. But who is a successful candidate? I am so happy I passed my examinations. All glory to God. Meanwhile, some students of the Lycée Bilingue de Aqua, on hearing their results, had their uniforms on for the last time as they celebrated with mates early Friday, July 29. I can't really explain how I feel. I feel so excited. I have too much emotions within. Having my back, I look up to doing an academic internship while preparing to enroll into a university. Sometimes when we look at difficulties we face while in school, we sometimes feel as letting go, but looking at our parents, we remain focused and work hard. A lot of excitement as we could find successful candidates who tore their uniforms, expressing the joy of not wearing them again. Parents whose children succeeded joined their kids in celebrating. As a parent, I'm very happy for my child because this academic year wasn't easy for her due to her ill health. And for the future, I anticipate that the best university will be good for my child, like any other parent who love to send his or her child to the university. I'm so overwhelmed. While successful candidates and their families celebrate, the reality is different in the homes of candidates who were unfortunate to make it this year.
Good luck to the candidate. Of course, like the saying that birds have learned to fly without perching and hunters too have learned to shoot without missing, the Cameroon Customs Southwest Regional Sector say that there will be no space for illegal importers and those involved in illegal businesses in the entire Southwest region of Cameroon. The strong message came after the custom officials seized illegally imported goods to Cameroon through the Southwest region worth millions of francs CFA. Derek Jato has more in the following report.
On board this truck immatriculated Littoral 036 DT are contraband goods. The mobile units of the Southwest Customs Sector intercepted this truck at the custom checkpoint recently in Modika along the Tiko-Douala road.
As you can see, we are fighting against illegal activities such as contraband of goods. Our elements once more have shown their determination. A seizure of 86 cartons of whiskey in the car is a proof that they are working.
Whiskey were smuggled into the country through Kumba in the Meme division. The goods were heated beneath this crate of beer to outsmart any controlled intervention. But the custom elements were smarter and do thorough search. And this was the discovery: 86 cartons of diverse whiskey brand, and in total 730 bottles of whiskey, estimated to cost over 11 million francs CFA, was the result. Custom duties will not cost them too much to have their goods inspected and stamped. But to those who have determined to do illegal business, the Southwest Customs Sector is also determined to track them down.
The message we want to send is that they should carry out legal activities. They should pay custom duties like normal citizens. They should get all the authorization for specific goods.
At press time, the whereabouts of the owner of these goods was nowhere to be found.
Corruption has not ended in Cameroon several years after the creation of the Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, and the launch of Operation Sparrow Hawk. However, fighters against corruption are not tired in the southwest region of Cameroon. Treasury stakeholders, civil servants have been grilled on how to identify corrupt activities within the public sector and also how to tackle them. It was during a meeting organized in the FACO Divisional Headquarters, Limbe. Davidson Mamu has more in the following report.
Corruption is not a new thing, neither in Cameroon nor in any other country in the world.
This is one of the statements some Cameroonians will not want to hear, but it is a global reality. Cameroonians of all classes are faced with a corruption phenomena, which seems to be the new way of life.
If you think that you're faced with an incident where you think you're obliged to be corrupt, what can you do? How do you face it?
Contractors, business persons and treasury staff in a seminar at the Seaside Resort City of Limbe, organized by the Director General of Treasury, brainstorm on the causes of corruption so as to fine-tune strategies on how it can be mitigated within the Cameroon Treasury sector. Patrick Nonye Tabali is a representative of the Director General of Treasury.
So the Ministry of Finance, through the Honorable Minister Lupo Mutaze, created in every operational Directorate General anti-corruption units. So the anti-corruption unit of the Directorate General of the Treasury conceived this project, working with the civil society on one hand, with service providers and users of the Directorate General of the Treasury services, the contractors, for instance, that were taken for this case, and our personnel of the Treasury sit around the table, and talk about mitigating and limiting anti-corruption practices in the Treasury.
Apart from the toll-free line put in place by the Ministry of Finance,
we are not saying that our services are very perfect. If you think that somewhere you are not being rendered service as due, you can call a toll-free line hence for 1509 to denounce.
The Southwest Regional Treasury Board says transparency is a key.
We have put in place several techniques to fight against corruption. One of those techniques is the transparency.
It is hope seminars as such could help reduce, if not eradicate, corruption in Cameroon, especially within the state-owned sectors.
David Simamo reporting from Limbe in the Fakwa of the Southwest region. And I will talk health to say that pregnant and nursing mothers in Cameroon are known to be most vulnerable to postpartum depression, being a mental health condition that can affect their children too. Studies have shown that most women in Cameroon and Africa in general are ignorant of the depression that often causes harm to the mothers and their children. Experts in these health complications sensitize these women from one hospital to the other in the economic capital city, Douala. Innocent Aze.
Depression is a mental disorder that
About 10% of new mothers after delivery are known to be affected by postpartum depression. Studies show those who develop this postpartum depression are at greater risk of developing major depression later on in life.
I was a victim of postpartum depression and it affected me a lot. It affected me to a point where I was collapsing without me knowing. I was unconscious in the hospital. Even the doctors in the hospital never knew what I was going through. I believe that there are lots of other women out here, not only in Cameroon, even in Africa. They don't even know anything concerning postpartum depression.
Severity of this depression cannot be underestimated.
So that's why we were going from one hospital to another to sensitize the women to know more about this depression that is killing women out there without them knowing. That's why this initiative came in for Postpartum Survivor Network to sensitize women on postpartum depression.
Some expectants and nursing mothers targeted in hospitals can only appraise the knowledge impacted them.
Déjà éviter d'être en colère, d'éviter beaucoup de choses.
Ça m'a beaucoup marqué. She says she never knew a lot of rest is required during pregnancy and after birth.
De la grossesse à l'accouchement.
So because stress can lead to miscarriage, premature delivery, anger and development of funny behaviors. To avoid all these, it is best to rest well.
Une femme enceinte ou une femme qui allait a besoin du repos. Donc ça m'a vraiment touchée et je suis émue.
Men are also appealed to listen to their wives, understand, accompany and encourage them to rest during pregnancy and after birth. This way, they will avoid postpartum depression. Some of the symptoms might include insomnia, loss of appetite, intense irritability, and the difficulty bonding with the baby.
And out of Cameroon, without a transition, we take you to the rainbow nation of South Africa, where fraudsters in South Africa are taking advantage of an insurance scheme that covers all road users, citizens and foreigners against injuries sustained or death arising from car accidents within the country. Anyone from the person who caused the accident to those injured or killed and their families are covered by the fund. The insurance scheme bureau estimated that the short-term insurance industry lost about US dollars 424 million in 2019 due to insurance crimes, and fingers are pointing at fraudsters. And away from South Africa, we take you to the United States of America. As we told you in our top stories, U.S. President has released his annual playlist, and Nigerians online are dancing with excitement after the former U.S. President Barack Obama released his annual summer playlist, which features Afrobeat artists like Thames, Fuse and Burna Boy. Some of the tracks on his latest playlist include the hit song Finesse by Pills and others by main Nigerian singers, as well as one of Burna Boy's latest and most popular single to date, Last. It's not the first time Obama has included Afrobeat music on his playlist. However, none of the hits featured from Cameroon. Cameroonians have also gone reacting on social media after the released list from Barack Obama and reactions from the neighboring Federal Republic of Nigeria. they are hoping and calling on the Cameroonian artists to do better so they too can be proudly represented or included in such a list. And I will talk sports. Ladies and gentlemen, to say that Cameroon's first participant in the ongoing Commonwealth Games has failed to move to the next stage. Njombe Ihoe Yves Charlie was involved in the men's 50 meters butterfly swimming qualifying rounds. More athletes from Team Cameroon will be involved in their competition specialties and categories come Saturday. Our reporter, sportsman Simanji Kangebe, has the rest in the following report.
35-year-old Njume Ihoe Yves Charlie was Cameroon's first athlete to descend to the court at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Njume Ihoe Yves Charlie, who was participating in the men's 50-meter butterfly heat, finished on spot number 6, which didn't permit him to continue for the medal chase in the men's 50-meter butterfly heat. Notwithstanding the elimination of Njume Ihoe Yves Charlie, he still has a chance of maybe getting a medal when he participates in the men's 100-meter freestyle when it will be programmed. Epeli Hubert Jordan Rabua of Fiji dominated the heat. Cameroon will be back in the competition this Saturday with Nora Milenesi to participate in the women's 50-meter freestyle heat to seek for a qualification to the next phase. 36-year-old Clotilde Essien will be on the boxing ring against Barbados Kimberly Gittins in the over 66 kg to 70 kg light middleweight round of 16 boxing. After the opening ceremony Thursday, Prince Charles was at the Games Village to congratulate the Cameroonian athletes who used the Togu outfit in their parade. While Cameroon is still expecting their first medal in the competition, England became the first nation to win a gold medal through Alex Yee in triathlon, while New Zealand has a silver and Australia a bronze medal. There are 15 sports and 16 medals to be won later in triathlon, artistic gymnastics, swimming, paraswimming, and track and para-track cycling later today in Birmingham.
You could be the #1 champion.
After a beautiful display with the Togo, Team Cameroon expected to do better than they did in Gold Coast when the Commonwealth Games were organized in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with sports that will put an end to this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. We thank you for your keen attention. Stay in the company of interesting programs. Right ahead, you will be having Equinoxe Soir from Yaoundé. The news in the French language. A complete edition comes up at 8 p.m. from Douala, Cameroon. I'm going to be here tomorrow for a bilingual edition. That will be 8 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, God willing.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte. De lundi à vendredi sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Voilà un jeune qui vient sur les plateaux et qui fait comprendre à d'autres jeunes comme lui sur le plateau qu'en fait, c'est nous qui sommes gelés du cerveau et que lui, il a raison de dire que le débat sur la succession est périphérique.
Il faut qu'on vous dise une chose, c'est quoi? C'est que arrêtons de stigmatiser nos compatriotes qui sont déjà âgés. Parce que l'âge même, c'est une bénédiction de Dieu.
Je vais sur l'autre, l'aîné, Yoshua aussi. Lui, c'est l'autre dealer. Parce qu'en fait, c'est lui en fait qui se retrouve dans des guerres de réseau qui ne le concernent pas au départ, mais ici engouffré.
L'honorable Yoshua aussi s'est retrouvé devant le ministre des Finances pour lui dire que, monsieur, selon les règlements de cette maison, vous ne devez pas être assis pour parler aux élus du peuple.
Je suis de ceux qui pensent que la majorité qui a préféré laisser passer aurait travaillé pour le peuple.
Nous sommes à un moment, à un tournant décisif de l'histoire de notre pays. À très peu de choses près, tout peut s'embraser et rien ne sera sauvé.